Welcome. I am Alexa Robertson, and this is my partner McKenna Welch. Today we are going to be discussing modern advances in the field of neuroscience and focusing specifically on how this newfound information could be implemented to help improve our society's education system.
Research indicates that these scientific advancements could greatly improve the flaws found in today's methods of education. Although some believe our society should stick with what works, it is important to push boundaries in order to achieve new heights. The success of tomorrow lies in the education of our youth. A quote by Joan Lucarello, Ph.D., chair of the Coalition for Psychology in Schools and Education, states, "Teaching and learning are intricately linked to social and behavioral factors of human development, including cognition, motivation, social interaction, and communication. These ideas present a scientific basis for the needed renovation of our society's learning environments." Catherine C. Powell and Cody J. Kalina for Florida Atlantic University focuses on two branches of the psychological theory, constructivism. These ideas of psychologists Piaget and Vygotsky hold ideas to better learning environments and brighter generations. Lev Vygotsky, the founding father of social constructivism, believed in social interaction and that it is an integral part of learning. Social constructivism is based on the social interactions and personal critical thinking processes that take place within a learning classroom.
It is important to insinuate these general ideas on an individual basis as well. One of Vygotsky's main theories is the zone of proximal development, or ZPD. This part of child development controls how a child learns. Vygotsky's theory focuses on the different psychological functions that emerge as a child grows. ZPD is described as a zone where learning occurs when a child is helped in learning a concept in the classroom. By assisting children in learning, many theorists and educators have proven that Vygotsky's theory works. Often, children will learn easiest within the zone when others are involved. This involves a social constructivist method where students act first on what they can do on their own, and then with the assistance from the teacher, they learn the new concept based on what they were doing individually. Piaget's cognitive constructivism theory also incorporates the importance of understanding what each individual needs to obtain knowledge and learn at their own pace. Observing students and comprehending their level of difficulty is paramount to this process within classrooms. This applies especially to those who suffer from cognitive disabilities and impairments. A report conducted by the National Center of Education Statistics revealed that about 13% of all public school students suffer from some degree of a cognitive disability. Of course, these disabilities range from minimal to requiring constant attention, but all hamper the students' abilities to learn as effectively as their non-affected peers. Advancements in neuroimaging technologies have allowed students to grasp an in-depth view of both quote-unquote normal and cognitively disabled brains. By observing these images and learning the sources of these disabilities, the combined efforts of teachers and neurological researchers alike could lead to the development of specialized learning plans. These plans could be specially tailored to stimulate the parts of the child's brain in need of extra attention. James McClelland, Stanford University's professor of psychology, illustrated neuroscience's ability to aid in more efficient education plans for those affected by cognitive limitations in his experiments concerning dyslexic students. McClelland began by testing and viewing brain images that revealed the connections or tracts of neurons to look at the brains of kids who were quote-unquote good readers and others who showed signs of dyslexia. By comparing these scans, he was able to identify the regions of the brain that, when not correctly stimulated, caused dyslexia. In a follow-up study, he found that kids with dyslexia who activated a particular brain region when trying to read went on to make much greater improvements in their reading ability. Kids who did not activate that particular region made very little reading gain after the age of 14. With this new information, specialized learning plans become a realistic possibility to enable those who are falling behind to catch up with their non-affected counterparts.
Psychological theories have played a large role in defining the most efficient and effective ways of learning for both the individual and classroom as a whole for the past decades. Recent research, however, has uncovered parts of the brain which can be activated by teachers through classroom enhancements. Teachers play a large role in students' comfort, motivation, and absorption of knowledge. Neuroimaging studies and measurement of brain chemical transmitters reveal that students' comfort level can influence information transmission and storage in the brain. In other words, when stress activates the brain's affective filters, information flow to the higher cognitive networks is limited and the learning process grinds to a halt. According to the Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development, when students are engaged and motivated and feel minimal stress, information flows freely through the affective filter in the amygdala, and they achieve higher levels of cognition, make connections, and experience aha moments. Such learning comes not from quiet classrooms and directed lectures, but from classrooms with an atmosphere of exuberant discovery. This research suggests that superior learning takes place when classroom experiences are enjoyable and relevant to students' lives, interests, and experiences.
Curriculum which adopts these ideas will enhance the effectiveness of teaching and the overall learning process for children within the education system. A specific solution has been developed by neurologist and educator Dr. Judy Willis. The acronym RAD can remind educators of 3 important neuroscience concepts to consider when preparing lessons. Novelty promotes information transmission through the reticular activating system, stress-free classrooms propel data through the amygdala's affective filter, and that pleasurable associations linked with the learning are more likely to release more dopamine.
The benefits of these solutions are obvious. However, some argue that the money, time, and workforce it would take to rearrange our society's education by implementing new lesson plans and properly training teachers is not economically feasible.
In response to this, it can be argued that the education of our youth is priceless. A bright future is only possible through the education of today's younger generations. While current education methods have been mostly effective, new information in the field of neuroscience, when implemented correctly, could greatly improve the quality of education that the children of our society receive. By improving learning programs for typical and struggling students alike, the involvement of neuroscience with the American education system would offer positives for every kind of student. Although it would require much money and effort to properly train teachers to incorporate these findings and to install the necessary technologies, the promise of a brighter education for our world much outweighs these material values.